The market tries to pull back before the bulls take control late. How high can they go? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay guys, so in yesterday's video we talked about the sloppy overlapping count in the micro, leaving us with several potential paths. When this is the case, it's best to zoom out and look at the macro count, as Elliott Wave is very good at hitting its macro targets. If you remember last October 12th when we were careening down toward 3,500, I said we should find support and then bounce up toward 4,300, and that's exactly what the market is doing. Now the question is, how will it get there? I'll get into that in just one second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, we're going to zoom out a little bit today. I will go over the micro, but let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 4-hour futures chart for the S&P 500, and you see two blue boxes on the screen. This top one is the range that we're currently in, and this range has been going on since back here in April 4th, early April. We moved up and then kind of held this range so far. But overall, if you look back till last June, they came down and tested this area and bounced. They blew through it, came back and tested it, came back and tested it and popped it up. Tested it again here, tested it again here, tested it here, tested it here. So it's clearly a very important level and a very strong area to hold. And that's why we're seeing the chop we're getting. It's very strong resistance for the bulls to break through. And what you're seeing is a move up to attack that resistance and a bounce, a move up to attack that resistance, a bounce, and so on. And so that's why we're getting so much chop in this range. I do think that it is likely the bulls hold up here. The 40.84 area is our bullish line. So if they come down and break 40.84, then they may just reject this again. And if they do, we could see a pretty strong sell-off at that point. But the 40.84 area is our more immediate bullish area. And I'll jump into that when we get into the micro counts. But that would be what we'd expect to hold if they're going to take this directly higher up into the 4,300 area like we would expect. So the other box you see is the major support area. And as we move forward here, if we can push up and make another high, we do have the potential for a leading diagonal to start a new move to all-time highs. Now, before you make all the comments and troll me down at the bottom, potential move to all-time highs. There is nothing that says we're doing that. I'm just giving you an idea of what could play out and why this box down here is super important. So as we stand right now, if they push up, that it would be a leading diagonal up, and we would look for a pullback at that time. In either case, whether that high is the B wave high that we've been talking about since last October, and we're looking for the C wave down, or that is a leading diagonal for wave one, this 3,800 area that you can see this blue box comes from there up to about 3,900. This whole area is major support for the market. You can see they tested it back here in May. They tested it again in June and actually pushed through it, came back, grinded on it for a while, came back down, blew through it again and made a new low, tested it here, tested it here, tested it here. So a lot of support in this area. These two boxes are kind of what's containing the market since August. And yes, you get some spikes above and below, but the overall important thing is that this is where the market is holding and this is where the market is stopping. Okay? And so when we get a pullback that tests 3,800, that will be the overall barometer of what this market is going to look like. If they hold 3,800 and come back and take out whatever high they make up here, that is extremely bullish, and we would look to new all-time highs at that point. If, however, they come down and test 3,800 and they push through, we would expect to break the 3,500 low and push down toward the 2,900 to 2,500 area on the S&P 500 in a bigger C wave. So before you say we're never getting to that area, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 understand that this move down to the 3,500 area is what we're calling our wave A, okay? And then we're looking for this B wave to complete around 3,800, which is around the 618 retrace of wave A, which is exactly what you'd expect a B wave to do, and you kind of expect it to look like this, sloppy and overlapping. Then you would expect a C wave down, and typically A equals C, which would put us right in that range. So very often, Elliott Wave's macro counts play out, as you can see off the low here up to the high. We are playing out the macro. I told you we should be in an A wave here with a B wave up towards 4,300, and then we'd look for C down. So how do we get up to 4,300? Well, today's higher low and push at the end back toward this high that got rejected off of this B wave high here tells me that the bulls really want to try to push directly. Now, whether they do that or not is up to the market. I don't get to make that, but the bulls are trying to push directly through this. If they can break this B wave high, Okay, then they should get a pretty good squeeze off of that because of the major resistance in this area. They'll flip the bears to bulls, and they should see the 42.28 to 43.263 area, just depending on which version of wave 3 they're in. And from there, we would expect one more little pullback back toward the top of this blue box to test that breakout, and then a push up towards 43.18 to as high as 44.07. So that would be the most bullish and direct path, a push up into this zone, a pullback to test, and then on up toward 4,300 plus. From there, based on the negative divergence on many charts, the resistance on the MACD, there's several different things you can point to. From there, we would look for a pullback, and then again, how that pullback materializes and if it can hold this box down here is what's going to be important in the bigger picture. Now, if they can't push directly higher, as long as we're over 40.84, what we can see is a little bit of a pullback, okay, and a wave 4 of 3, and then 5 of 3 up towards 42.63, and then same thing, back test that box and push up toward that 43.18 to as high as 4,400 level. So for the bulls, as long as they're above 40.84, we can expect a direct move higher. They do have an alternative count, but it's getting less and less likely, especially as they push up on this B wave. We could get that E wave down to 3,900, and if we get that, then it is possible we get a new C wave that comes up toward that 4,400 area from there. But again, the higher they push this D wave, and as soon as they take out this B wave high, that invalidates. So a couple of different options for them here. And then finally, of course, if it's going to be a more direct move down, we would be in wave 2, where this move down off the B wave was actually a wave 1, and then this move up was a wave 2. Okay, and then we'd look for a pretty big sell-off after that. But as soon as they take out that B wave high, that also invalidates. And I don't like how high we've pushed up into that B wave, but technically it is still possible until we take out that high. So I do see the bulls trying to push this more directly towards 4,300 as long as they stay over 40.84. Otherwise, we have some other options that could play out. Over on the NASDAQ, okay, in the bigger picture, same type of setup on the NASDAQ where we are looking for a little higher. I told you same thing on the NASDAQ. We were looking for a low down there in that 10,500 area, which we got. And then we were looking for a push to the 13,000 to 14,000 area, which we very well could get here as the NASDAQ is pulling back. It does look like a potential ABC down, but if they take out this B wave high, it does look like they can push directly higher, okay, up into that 14,000 area to complete that move a little bit more directly. So for the NASDAQ, the B wave high here at about 13,277 would be the key level. If they push over that, then we would see the NASDAQ try to take out this high on a more direct move to the 13,500 area. If they cannot, we would look for a pullback to that 12,841 area, and then from there a push higher and to complete the move up and try to give us that final push on the NASDAQ as well. So both markets doing what we expected to off of this low, giving us an ABC up to that 13,000 to 14,000 area on the NASDAQ and that 4,300 area on the ES. It's just a question of how they're going to get through on these micro counts, as Elliott Wave can struggle in the micro counts from time to time. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link and it will take you right over to the website. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible plans and they both come with a 7-day free trial because I want you to get in there. I want you to make sure you love it and become part of the trading team before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We also started our Elliott Wave for Beginners training course. I teach Elliott Wave the way I use it, and that does come with both memberships. In our first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the counts and answer all of your questions, as well as the training material you just saw. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing trade, which means our trades last anywhere from a few days to a few months, so we don't trade quite as often as a day trading room does. However, if you are interested in day trading as well as individual stocks, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, day trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method that just crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures the trade that's so unique. It's something you kind of have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into an account, trading mini ES futures, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we would love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, key takeaways for today. Big picture tells us we should be looking toward that 4,300 area. The question is, how do we get there in the micro count? Over on the NASDAQ, same type of setup. Big picture tells us we should be in the 13 to 14,000 area, which we already are in right now. But I do expect one more push higher up toward that 13,500 area and possibly even higher than that, just depending on how it plays out. But into that 13,000 to 14,000 area and then the move down after that. Guys, that is the market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.